This track is very good as well on the space within the track, right? The space of breaks, the pauses. It's not just go 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 go, which makes it more of a ridey vibe. You can fly to it, you can drive to it, you can listen to it, you can hang out. It's not just punches all the time. I'm letting it breathe. Yeah. I hear from the castaway, spend half the day infatuated. Yeah. High on flight, I be on. Window seat, I sit on. Eat by do my headphones. Kicked out drums, got leg room. I be high, won't see ya for 3 hours. So we are back on the ground in Rio. Crazy verse. Awesome. This is the first time that I've released this style of my vocal, right? I'll talk about this real quick. We're about 35 minutes in. That's solid. Hopefully it's entertaining. Hopefully y'all enjoy seeing some of the behind the scenes of the track itself and how it gets made. I know I'm rambling a lot, but that's the details I want to hear from the artists that I admire and I look up to and I listen to and I enjoy their music, right? I want to hear the details that they're adding in. So I'm just going to talk about it, and however it goes. Not really going to worry about it. And hopefully y'all enjoy it. I know somebody will, and that's all that matters. So this track, this is the first time that I've done this sort of vocal on a release track. High on flight, I be on. Right? I've done this vocal in a lot of other unreleased tracks, some other unreleased tracks. And this is the first time it's been released. So part of, it's experimentation. It's vocal experimentation. And that's what I'm doing with the layers, right? This is something that I've written about and I'll release and I'll talk about as well in videos. Is in conversation, 99% of the population has never used this sort of vocal, right? And not done the raspy voice that I did as a layer, and not done, because you don't talk like this in an everyday basis. It's in music a lot of times you experiment it, or theater, or vocal acting, or if you're really mad, you might be in a different voice, right? So there's times where it pops up in the everyday life, but in music, you experiment with your voice. A lot of people just use the same voice, this talking voice, their entire life, right? So why not explore it? Why not explore the pitches I can go to? You know what I mean? The notes I can hit, the way I can manipulate it, the way I can cut things off, the way I can add, a manual delay, you know what I mean? Like whatever it is, you can add all these things in. Funny thing, the chorus for, or the verse for "You Just Gotta," chorus, whatever, that's a manual delay in that vocal. I'm not gonna pull it up, but it wasn't like an automated delay. I delayed my voice itself, and we used that. So go listen to it, and you'll hear where it's at. It's in a transitionary point using the delay. So yeah, that's pretty. Here's the actual verse, and here's the verse layers. We can get into all this. Very simple, just 4, right? Just 4 layers. And you can see how they're broken up 1, 2, 3, 4 together. I let it space, I let it breathe where this could be a 5th one that would fit in, and then 2 more, right? Intentional as well. The breath before hitting you with 2 more, kind of like punches, kind of like boxing. And yeah, so this is the first time anyone's heard this vocal that hasn't heard mine release tracks. And man, it's clean. It's a clean vocal. And what's crazy enough, somebody asked me about this whenever I showed it before this got released. One of my friends, he was like, how does that come to be? How does that sort of vocal come to be? And that was personally experimenting with it. That's how I heard it in my head whenever I was writing it, right? I'm on the plane. High on flight, I be on. Like this high pitched, like delivery voice. I don't know how to really explain it. It's like a elevated feeling in a way. I have to find more words to explain how it is. Maybe if y'all have any suggestions on what that sounds like to you compared to my normal voice, please drop it in the comments or message me. I'd like to hear y'all's thoughts on it. But high on flight, I be on. It's very dictated. The diction on it's very precise. rounded at the edges in a way.
High on flight, I be on. Window seat, I sit on. Do my headphones. Kicked out drums, got leg room. I be high, won't see ya. For 3 hours, so we are back on the ground in Rio.
You can hear that vocal bouncing around with the delay once again. And I left all that in as well. Look at all the breaths, right? You see them? All of these little, if you follow my mouse, these are all breath waveforms.
Window.
You know, those vocals. And the thing is, I left it in intentionally so it feels how the track feels. I could have cleaned it up. It's easy. I've done it in tracks, but I decided to leave it on. And so this was recorded that first night. I recorded the chorus and all that by myself with the intro. And before, like, right after I got back from the trip.
High on flight, I be on. Window seat, I sit on.
Window seat, I sit on. Do my headphones. Erykah Badu, window seat track. I got a couple of her vinyls. And whenever I'm at a window seat, I just think about that song. And so that's what Erykah Badu, on my headphones. I was listening to that song actually while I was on the plane as well. I have it downloaded.
Window seat, I sit on. Do my headphones.
Kicked out drums, got leg room. Kicks, drums, kicked out drums, leg room, space. The way, I actually have leg room on the plane is what I'm talking about. Leg room, right? Like you kick out your legs. Kicked out drums, got leg room. Very spacious drums on this track itself. And so, yeah, I thought that was a cool line. Kicked out drums, got leg room. Like the drums got leg room, and I'm also on the plane. I have leg room, kicked out.
My headphones, kicked out drums, got leg room. I be high, won't see ya. For 3 hours, so we are.
I think the flight's actually 2 hours and some, but 3 rhymes instead of 2. So sometimes I try to be as truthful as I can in my rhymes, but sometimes I flip things out to make them rhyme or feel a certain way or leave certain information out. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Maybe it was 3 hours. Maybe we got delayed. Well, shit, with time change, it's 3 hours, instead of 2. So yeah, fuck it, it's 3 hours.
For 3 hours, so we are back on the ground in Rio.
People have asked me that. What did you say right there? I don't know. It just sounds good. A lot of times I try to be super intentional with my words, right? I try to make them sound certain ways. I want certain words to hit certain ways. I want all my verses to be very cohesive and they work together. Like if you listen to some of my verses, they're stories a lot of times, right? They're not just one line punchline, one line punchline, one line punchline, one line punchline. It's all interwoven with my rhymes. When I Get It is a great example of that track, or of that sort of style where it's just straight rhymes going through it, piecing together a story. But in a lot of my other tracks, but that one especially. And
back on the ground in Rio.
That's just how I recorded it. This was all the original vocal. Back on the ground in Rio. Rear of the plane. That's what I really mean.
Back on the ground in Rio. Back.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be meaning from now on. I didn't know it.
For 3 hours, so we are back on the ground in Rio.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so back on the ground in the rear of the plane. Right, that's what it is. I tried replacing it with other words. Couldn't find anything that I really wanted to fit. It didn't sound good. The way it sounds is so different than back on the ground in BR. That one would have fit, but I used BR later. But any other word didn't really fit in there. The sound of that word or whatever I said fits perfect. So that's what I did. And then you have these layers. These layers are sick. These are some of my favorite layers I've ever done, actually. Just the spacing of them, the timing, where they're at in the track, and the way they sound. Let's toss these on.
High on flight, I be on. Window seat, I sit on. Do my headphones. Kicked out drums, got leg room. I be high, won't see ya. For 3 hours, so we are back on the.
Super cool layers, man. I really enjoy layers. If y'all don't know, I work on them time and time again. That's something I've been experimenting with, and I'm very interested in listening to layers when people are making them, how they make them, how they change the vocals, how they add effects to them. And you'll see that reflected in a lot of my new tracks. is the use of layers and the way I use them and the different styles I create and sounds, right? Because this sound right here has never been made in the world, right? Except right here. And another crazy thing about layers, which I'll talk about in videos as well, is that every conversation you ever have is one layer. You can only create one layer out of your voice regardless. I mean, beatboxing is a little different, but there's still one layer. It's just multiple sounds at once. But I guess that's I never really thought about it. I guess it's pretty close to using your vocal cords. You can only create one layer, as far as I know. And so, like, in your life, you don't really hear other layers, right, of your voice. And so this is a completely different sound than you'll ever hear from anyone. And from me is this stack, right? It's a different layer set that only exists in this track. That's what I'm getting at, is vocal layering only works on recordings in some way, some sort of medium. And so it only exists in this track. That's the only time you'll ever hear layers, and that's the only time you'll ever hear layers like these. I'll talk about more in a video in the future, because that's something I'm really interested in. I've thought about a lot, but yeah, these are super clean. These only exist right here in the song. And this is my voice. All this whole track is just my vocals, by the way. It's all me. I thought that'd be interesting to say as well, that there's me experimenting, but
Beyond, sit on, heavens, layer on.
I could have taken out the spaces, left them in for the extra ambiance, the extra frequencies that are going on. And if you notice as well, what's really cool, listen to the beat and
Beyond, sit on, heavens, layer on.
I pitch down with the beat itself.
Beyond, sit on,
Beyond, sit on, headphones, legroom,
heavens,
right?
layer on.
And match it, the vocal layering with the beat, how it's going.
Heavens, layer on. We are. Heavens, layer on.
Guitar on it. Yeah, that's so. I that's a super interesting thing. Whenever I did it, and I was making, I was like, "Yo, it's just all, yeah, this is all one take." But the way I dropped down, I enjoyed that a lot. That was one of my first times intentionally noticing that and doing it. I felt it out, and that's how it felt. But then I noticed it right after I did it. Like, oh, that's what I'm doing, is I'm naturally going with the rhythm of the beat. So super cool with that. On silence, all this.
I be on window seat, I sit on.
And that just fills the space perfectly of this vocal. You know, the layers match so perfectly with the verse, and they fill the space perfectly of the verse as well.
High on flight, I be on window seat, I sit on. Ibadu my headphones, kicked out drums, got leg on. I be high, won't see ya for 3 hours. So we are back on the ground and
That break is very well needed.
I be high, won't see ya for 3 hours. So we are
just to make those last two hit harder and going into the interlude of the verse, I guess is what we'll call this. So yeah, let's play it out.
We are back on the ground in Rio. I just landed in Astaway, real long way from the BR. Flying on some my Kia, high in the sky like Seagull, all black tuxedo.
So yeah, that's what you're getting at right here, right? This interlude period, which is super cool. This is how I naturally did it. I did re-record the vocal for that, or I took the main vocal, loaded down, and then added layers on it for that. But this is a take.
I just landed in Astaway.
I just landed in Astaway is a take from the chorus, and then I added layers onto it. Let's see how that sounds.
Real long. I just landed in Astaway. Real long. I just landed in Astaway.
And here I kind of do the reverse reverb sound with my own voice. I just like a transition into it, and then I emphasized it obviously with these three, which is just reverse reverb of the vocal. Right, just to add that bridge. And I intentionally stretched this out too, like made the delay longer. So that's coming in. Listen when it's coming in. I'll point to, or you can see it, but you'll hear it, and I'll point where it actually starts coming in. It's still while the verse is going on.
3R, so we are back on the ground in Rio. I just landed, ain't asked the way.
I intentionally did that so it'd come in early while I'm within the verse itself. So I just landed, ain't, kind of bringing you into it some, and then it hits you. I just landed, ain't asked the way. Real long way from the BR. That the way I switch back to it, I love it. I love a lot of people's reactions I've seen that I've showed it to that part, because they don't know what to expect. They're like, oh, here's this interlude, and then it hits back into the verse again. This kind of going back to my, subconscious, what I'm thinking, kind of.
Back on the ground in Rio. I just landed, ain't asked the way. Real long way from the BR.
And notice how I didn't like reverb out of it, extreme reverb out of it like I did these, right? I cut it. That's what I was talking about earlier in this video. Cut straight into, so it hits. It's like a punch, like you're not expecting. You can't see me coming around swinging. It's just like a jab, right? I just landed, ain't asked the way. Kind of back smooth again. Real long way from the BR. That is awesome. I love that part. This took a little bit of work to do, actually, because it didn't sound good at first, and I had to come back and change some stuff from the original recording, because this was a part in the original recording, but I came in and added stuff. Listen how it sounds without the 3 delays in there. Reverse reverbs.
I won't see ya for 3R, so we are back on the ground in Rio. I just landed, ain't asked the way. Real long way from the BR.
I'll play it one more time just so y'all hear how different it sounds.
So we are back on the ground in Rio. I just landed, ain't asked the way. Real long way from the BR.
It's like it's missing something. It just hops into that spot without the transition. So if you're somebody who makes music, vocals, recording, whatever, any form of anything, but also I'm just going to speak about vocal recording, test delays, delays to lead out of something, delays to lead into something, reverse reverbs to lead into something. There's so many different ways you can transition, right? That's a transition that I'm doing. And it feels like it's missing something without it, right? It's just this empty block of space, and now I'm smoothing it over, right? So it's not just this big square jump you're hopping on, but you have a ramp that you're going into, right? You're ramping it, and then you drop off the edge of the block on the other side. So here's what it sounds like with that back end.
I be high, won't see ya for 3R, so we are back on the ground in Rio. I just landed, ain't asked the way. Real long way from the BR. Flying on some Ikea, high in the sky like Seagull. All black tuxedo, stretched out riding limo. I'll be fine for Rio, finito.
There come them homes. So last little thing, repurposing the chorus, right? I just landed, ain't asked the way. Real long way from the past today. Last little trip left the aftertaste. That's how the chorus went. Real long way from the past today is what it was. But it fits in perfectly. I don't know. It's just naturally I made it like this. Where it fits in real long way from the, and it cuts BR. Talking about Baton Rouge. Talked about 225 earlier in the chorus coming. Real long way from the BR. Like I'm 3 hours away from the Baton Rouge. And it works with the rhymes. Really enjoy that. How I repurposed the chorus, and then also the BR rhyme. For the real long way from the past today, real long way from the BR. 2 separate meanings, right?
Back on the ground.
Could be the same as well, but.
In Rio, I just landed, ain't asked the way. Real long way from the BR. Flying on some Ikea, high in the sky like.
And notice, no layers, right? No layers in the second part of the verse. Intentional as well. This kind of catches your attention.
High on flight, I be on. Window seat, I sit on. Ibadu my headphones. Kicked
I'll
out.
let you relax a little bit, right? Like I come in with this high-pitched voice. If this, or a higher tone voice, if this is the first time hearing it, catches you off guard a little bit. I'm featuring on my own track, basically, which I have in a lot of my unreleased tracks. Like different voices featuring on my own tracks is how this kind of feels to me, this verse. Like it could easily be someone else on the track, but it's me in a different style, in a different character, in a different feeling, emotion, and I kind of hit you. High on flight, I be on, window seat, I sit on. Like just straight away hitting you, and then I kind of tone down a little bit. Sit on, you about to do my headphones, leg room, right? I let you relax a little bit, and then you breathe. So it's boom, boom, and then it's drop down a little bit, let it breathe, and then come back and punch you twice more. And while it's punching you, it's transitioning into this chorus, which is back to what you're comfortable with. You've heard it before, and then you're getting used to it, and then it chops off at the end. No transition out of it, and then it punches you again. BR, right? Two syllables. BR, right in your head, and then right in your face again, and then it goes down, and there's no more. You've already just got hit with all this stuff, right? So I let it breathe. No more layers or anything. It's just now you get to just feel the essence of the vocal itself and listen to it instead of anything else distracting from it. It kind of carries the weight and transitions out of the verse that leads into the chorus, which has more layers to it than the first chorus had, which was also intentional. I'll get to that in a second. But
away from the BR, flying on some.
And this part was recorded within 2 weeks before releasing, right? It took a few takes. And I had to really solo this vocal and listen to it. And what I was missing in this vocal was the breaths. The high on flight, I be on. Window seat, I sit on. Iba do my headphones. You know, those I was missing, so I couldn't get the same sound. So
on my Kia, high in sky like seagull. All black tuxedo. Stretch.
So whenever I added that back in, or I recorded it with that in mind, then it sounded much more like this verse. But you can tell there's a slight difference. But I got them as close as I could, and I enjoy it. I enjoy how it sounds. And except for the seagull, I left that so it kind of that space as well, right? And that's a space in a different space than here, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, 5 lines break. And then this is
BR, flying on some my Kia, high in sky like seagull. All black tuxedo, stretched out riding limo. I'll be fine for Rio, finito.
That's going back to how I'm feeling. I'll be fine for real. Finito, like that's it. Let's stop talking about it. Let's get back into the verse. Let's get into the trip. Let's do all this, right? Let's finish it. And so, yeah.
BR, flying on some my Kia, high in sky like seagull. All black tuxedo, stretched out riding limo. I'll be fine for Rio, finito.
Cool. Finito is also Italian. I finished this after I came back from the overseas trip to Italy and Spain. So that probably was also in my mind. But I had this written in my notes a while ago. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. BR, flying on something. My Kia, flying on a plane. Flying on something. My Kia, like my key, my life force, my energy is what I was going for with that. It rhymes. It sounds cool and also has low meaning. The key, the life force, the energy of you and everything around you. High in the sky like seagull, like it's elevated is what I'm talking about, my key. And then I'm also flying on something high in the sky, like seagull.
Flying on some my Kia.
And I also love how simple that rhyme is, right? Seagull. Like somebody be like, oh, you're flying high like a seagull. But it's like the way I said it, the intentionality of it, I think is really cool.
High in sky like seagull. All black tuxedo, stretched out riding limo.
Kind of giving some imagery around Miami, all blacked out tuxedo, stretched out riding limo, kicked out drums, kind of the same sort of relaxed feel that this track embodies.
All black tuxedo, stretched out riding limo. I'll be fine for Rio, finito.
I love the way that I say for real, finito, right? Seagull, for real. Whenever you say it and articulate it in a certain way, it just sounds like they don't rhyme at all, but you can flip that with your words and all, and how you choose to say them. For Rio, finito, right? The tone of it and the way that I pronounce the words makes it rhyme. Super cool. So yeah, let's move on from that. And then I just have send 4 stereo delay and decay reverb. I added on the end, kind of like that. Yeah, right? So I added that here at the end as well, just to give you that effect of the
finito.
You hear that delay? That's actually a different delay. That's a stereo delay. That just keeps going on. It doesn't just bounce 4 times. It runs on until the feedback runs out. But, all right, let's move.
Rio, Finito.
Second chorus.
Just touched down in Miami. Landed ain't playing in the damn thing. Back then they understand me. Still don't understand me. I ain't in this for trophies, no watching, no Emmy or Tony or Grammy. Did this here off my family. 225, that's my family. I just learned it ain't asked away. Real long way from the past today. Last little trip left the aftertaste. Exaggerated actually. Ain't one for the masquerade. Turn back around, hit it back to stay. Flew out here feeling castaway. Spent half the day infatuated. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I'm tapping at an hour right now in this film. Probably try to close this off at an hour 30 or so, hour 45. But also think it's just good information. If you're sticking around to watch it, thank you. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're learning and just getting behind the scenes of how I make these tracks. I don't have any videos of me recording, but I can go and break down and tell you what I was thinking while I was recording. It just gives you some behind the scenes. You don't often see this with full tracks from artists, right? T-Pain does a great job of showing his and showing him recording the actual process. But yeah, this is a whole breakdown. I hope this is all recorded correctly and sounds good. But so these homes, they come in. That was a last minute touch, like a day or 2 days before I sent the track to release. I think it was the day before. And I just had it in this outro spot right here. It was the original spot. And I was like, let me add it in quieter right here. It fits in perfectly as well. I just had it in my mind. I've been wanting to work with hums more. The new track Lawnmower has a good set of them that I repeat a lot, but that's something I really want to get into is more the humming, the feel, the oohs, the ahs, compared to just vocals as ad-libs and as layers. So you will see that in a lot more of my tracks coming up. So I was like, you know what, screw it. Let me try it into the chorus. So yeah, that's what I did. I tossed it in this first spot. I was like, whoa, that sounds good. I tossed it in the second spot. It sounds good. I tried to toss it in the third spot. As you can tell, I did not like how that sounded. So I did.
Castaway, spend half the day infatuated. Wow, traveling.
Sounds cool, but I really like the space of the interlude, and that just kind of impedes on the space and tries to overpower it. So I took it out. It's like something culinary, like a dish, right? You have 2 bites of sriracha or jalapeno might be great, and then you add that third one, it just overpowers everything. So you don't use it. It's kind of that same. That's with all the arts kind of crafting together. But so yeah, the oohs, the hums. I mean, what's super cool about this as well, this is something else that I've worked on a lot, is intentionality of building choruses, building verses, especially building choruses, and just building tracks in general, right? All of this, these hums were not in the initial chorus. This little vocal, yeah, was not in the initial chorus. These layers were not in the initial chorus, right? These were, but these were not. And that's something that I'm adding into the second chorus. So whenever you listen to it, you have more unique parts. You have the full form of the chorus right there. I could have just copied and pasted this all to the beginning, but then it's kind of like letting out the secret early on, right? You're kind of getting you're hearing the it's not a surprise. It's not full. It's not a like, this is how I want my tracks to feel, right? And especially this track, at least. Some tracks different, but this track, it starts, it builds. You have your first chorus that's very simple. Then your verse is complicated. And then the verse kind of starts swooping down. And then it kind of takes you up again with the, like it's supposed to be an experience. That's what I'm trying to make it is an experience. And if you went on a roller coaster that just had a lot of the same ups and down drops, you know what I mean? Or the same circles, like, yeah, that's a cool turn, but it does the same turn 15 times. It wouldn't be a fun roller coaster. You go back to be like, man, I really like this spot where it drops right here and how they add in the different twists and turns. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I could add the hums, I could add the layers, but then you're just getting the same thing throughout the whole track. Let me make you an experience. Let me add and make a more evolved chorus. And yeah, that's something that I worked on a lot. If you listen to Smino, he's very good at that. Him and his team, on their intentionality on how they build choruses. They do a great job. So That's also what I did here. The hums add in, it transitions into the verse, into the chorus, the hums, and then it also hits this spot, which is about what I'm gonna call the peak spot of the song. A little bit, it's about a little bit after the middle of the track. So yeah, you have these hums that come in, and then you have 3 sets of additional layers I add in. So here are the hums and everything.
I'll be fine for Rio, finito. Just touched down in Miami. Landed, ain't playing in the damn thing. Back then they understand me.
And I mimic the beat on that, I'm pretty sure. I'll get better at all that too. You can hear that landed ain't playing in the damn thing. That's my headphones coming through while I was recording those. And so yeah, cool vocals, not the super cleanest. Together they sound great, and together in the beat they sound great. I'm just gonna get better at that though when I keep tuning my voice and keep working. So yeah, that's the hums that come in. Like I said, originally was made just for the outro, added into the chorus the night before. Perfect.
Just touched down in Miami. Landed, ain't playing in the damn thing. Back then they understand.
That's one of my favorite parts in the entire track. This damn. I put it as this clean track on Spotify. It is a clean track. I'm not counting damn as a curse word. But damn, right in your face, and that's not in the first chorus. And it's perfect how it fits in. Oh shit. Sorry for that. Dropped the mic off the table. Landing ain't playing in the damn thing. Damn, right? It just pops in your face. Wow. Like you're transitioning into the second chorus, the highest form, right? That's what the intentionality was behind it. Damn. I gotta hear that with double headphones. Damn. That's something that I will show y'all, the individual layers.
Damn. Damn.
That's a good one. Damn. That's a really good sound.
Damn.
That's like the classic solo. You hear it in a lot of my layers. That sort of
tone
and level.
Damn.
High dragged out. High dragged out compared to just a high punch, right? Yeah. Cool. Damn. So all different, all together. This is how it sounds.
Damn. 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 Back then they understand.
This one carries right here.
Damn.
That one fits nice. Let's hear it. I thought that one in.
Damn.
And that.
Damn.
And the middle one too.
Damn.
Right.
Damn. Damn.
It just fills the space and then.
Damn.
Sick, man. Sick layers. The damn only adds in during that part as well.
Landed ain't playing in the damn thing. Back then they understand me.
And you can't even hear like all the layers in that part. It's sound, right, that combines together to fit inside the beat. The level that I have.
They playing in the damn thing. Back then they understand me.
Yeah. I just panned that one left to right. I love that ad-lib, that layer. Yeah. It's just more of how you feel. It's that yeah. Like low down feeling compared to the high up energy of the track, right?
Playing in the damn thing. Back then they understand me. Still don't understand me. I
did that the first night, and I love how that sounded, and the damn ones too. Whenever I recorded, I love the way that yeah fits in there and sounds. It's heavier than a lot of the other layers that are all raspy. It's a deeper tone. It's just simple. I love it.
Just touched down in Miami. Landed ain't playing in the damn thing. Back then they understand me. Still don't understand me. I ain't in this for trophies, no Washington, no Emmy or Tony or Grammy. Did this here off my family. 225, that's my family. I just landed, ain't asked away. Real long way from the past. Last little trip left it.
How awesome is that part, man? That's just so sick. So you have the damn punch in. Just touched down in Miami. I could have like Miami, you know what I mean? But the damn hits harder on the second than the first. Just touched down in Miami. Landon ain't playing in the damn thing. Damn. And what's also cool about that layer is I'm not saying just Landon ain't playing in a damn thing, right? I'm putting in the space the word damn that came before. You could do it the opposite way too a lot of times. You can say something before you say it in the verse, and that sounds sick as well. All these different ways you can experiment. And this is the coolest part. This is the crux. This is the apex of the track itself. This whole set of layers, this whole section right here. It's the highest form of the chorus. I added in, if you noticed, the delay, the reverse reverb.
Back on the ground in Rio. I just learned it ain't asked away. Real long way from the BR. Flying on some.
Right? The reverse reverb that I didn't put in the intro chorus. I didn't put in the intro chorus. I used in the interlude. I then went and repeated it in the second chorus. And it builds up into this crux of the middle where you have this set of layers, which was here in the original. These three were here in the original chorus. Weren't added on, right? Then you have this added on reverse reverb into it.
225, that's my fan.
And you had the 225 right before it. Also love that that little layer too. It's just a 2-piece layer. Super simple.
225.
Right, lots of delay, lots of reverb on it. Stock stuff. The same thing that the Wows had and some of the other parts.
225.
And I love the emphasis, like that, just the slight texture emphasis that it puts on the chorus and on that word. 225, Baton Rouge area.
Trophies, no watch, no Emmy or Tony or Grammy. Did this here off my family. 225, that's my family.
That's how it feels. Like if you listen to these layers, that's how the words I'm saying feel. If you were to have a higher evolved form, right? That's how it feels. All right, I'm gonna stop this real quick so it saves, and then we'll come back.